Hey y'all, welcome to Humming Catfish. Today we're going to be making bread. So get washed up, grab your apron, and let's go. This bread I found is really good for making sandwiches. Once it cools down and you put it in the fridge, when you take it out you can cut really thin slices. So that's what Sean likes for his sandwiches. What we're going to need for the bread is flour. I just got the Walmart all-purpose flour, works for me. You're gonna need some yeast, water, cooking oil, honey, and salt. First thing we're gonna do is proof the yeast. Yeast is little, but it is powerful. It's actually a single cell organism that converts starch and sugar through like a fermentation into carbon dioxide and alcohol. Woo! The carbon dioxide is what causes your bread to rise. Now, in order for yeast to work, it needs a food, it needs warmth, and it needs moisture. So we're going to take our 2.5 cups of water, and we're going to get it to between 105 and 115 degrees is where yeast is the happiest. So one thing my mom taught me when I was little is that when you're doing yeast, put your finger in the water, and if it gives a little sting, but it doesn't hurt, then it's ready. I'm gonna get this water heated up, and I'll see you right back here. To our warm water, we are gonna add 2 tablespoons of honey. Yes, I just licked my finger. Now to this, we're gonna add our yeast, and we are doing 3 1/4 teaspoons. Just gonna estimate that quarter. Now I'm gonna give this a little stir and set it to the side. Now we're gonna be measuring out the flour. I switched over to weighing my flour instead of measuring it in the measuring cups because I found I got a more consistent end product. I'm gonna be measuring out 825 grams of flour for this recipe. 1 cup of flour weighs 120 grams, so this is a little less than 7 cups if you don't have a scale to measure it on. Now, it is not necessary to sift flour when you're making bread, but I do. I find it's easier to mix everything together if the flour's all kind of nice and fluffy. So if you are sifting, now's the time to sift. You're gonna want a big bowl for your flour. This is what we're actually going to be mixing everything in. So I am just going to get this flour sifted up. Now to this we are going to add 1 1/4 tablespoon of sea salt. Then we're just going to mix this around. Make a little well in the center. You can see how the yeast kind of proofed up there. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour the yeast right into the little well that we made. Beautiful. And now to that I'm going to add 2 1/4 tablespoons of olive oil. And now we're going to stir. I find a wooden spoon is easiest to do this with. I don't know why. Maybe I just don't have any good plastic spoons. Now you can see it starting to pull together. Alright, I'm going in. And I'm just going to do it in the bowl for a little bit just to get all the pieces in there. Let's get this turned out. And now we're going to knead the dough, adding flour as needed for about 10 minutes. One thing I always do when I'm proofing my bread is I turn the oven on at 350 for 1 minute and then turn it back off. That way I have a nice warm environment for the bread. I'm going to be using a glass bowl. This is the one that I just found works good, the size and everything. I'm gonna put some olive oil in there. Probably put a little too much in there, but I'm gonna coat the top and the sides. We got the dough in the greased bowl. Now I'm gonna wet a dishcloth. It's just a cotton, like flour sack type of towel. And I'm gonna just get this damp and then put it over the bowl. Because remember, the yeast needs its food, it needs warmth, and it needs moisture. Put that over that. I know it looks dirty, it's just stained. Alright, you don't have to put a lid on it. It's just kind of what I always do. I'm going to put this in the oven that's just slightly warm, and we're going to let that rise for 1 hour. So I'll see y'all back here. Alright, it has been an hour, and man, this is really risen almost the whole bowl. So now it's time to punch it down. We're going to turn the dough onto a lightly floured little countertop here and divide it into 2 equal portions. Alright, now grease 2 bread loaf pans. Okay, now we're going to form the loaves. I'm just going to get a little bit of flour on here. And what you want to do is get this into a rectangle. It's a little bit shorter than your bread pan. Alright, so first thing I'm going to do is fold this over, and I'm using the heel of my hand to kind of seal it. I'm going to take the sides and bring them in. Seal it. I'm going to fold it, seal it, fold it, and seal the ends. And you can see better like that. Keep tucking the sides in. I'm going to do the same thing with the oven. I'm going to put it on 350 for a minute and then turn it off. I'm going to cover these with the same wet towel from before. And I'm going to put them into the oven that's been slightly warmed for 45 minutes and let them rise. When your timer indicates that 30 minutes have passed, go ahead and take the bread dough out and set your oven at 350 degrees. That way it's all preheated and everything whenever the dough's finished rising. Alright, these are risen and ready to go in the oven. So we're going to put them in at 350. Use the middle rack. I use one up just because my oven's kind of funny. The bottom heats a lot more than the top. So check it after about 20 minutes. You'll know it's finished. It's probably going to be closer to 25, 28 minutes. But you're going to know it is cooked when the top is a golden brown, and when you thump it, it's going to make a hollow sound. Alright, so they're out of the oven, out of the pans. That was 30 minutes cooking at 350. Took a little bit longer than normal. Might be the weather, I don't know. But I'll show you what I mean about the thump. Now, if you wanted to, you could brush the tops with butter. I'm going to leave them like this. I'll show you how they look on the inside, because I got to make lunch here in a minute. So it's still really hot. And like that, you can cut it a lot smaller or thinner once it cools off completely and you have it in the fridge for a little bit. It's going to make a good grilled cheese. Alright, I'm going to let these cool down completely, and then I'll show y'all how I wrap them up to keep them as fresh as possible. First thing I do is wrap it in this cotton, like flour sack type of towel. So I got this on the beeswax wrap. I'm gonna put it about right here. And then just kind of do the same with it, you know, if you're using plastic wrap or whatever, but just kind of get it sealed up pretty good. And I've tried this without the little white towel over it, and I find that this keeps it the best. And it should last about 5 days. I guess depending too on the humidity or heat of your kitchen. But that's what we find. And if you have chickens, whatever scraps you have, they sure do like it. Well, that's about all I got for y'all today. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this. And if you like what I'm doing, I surely would appreciate if you subscribe to the channel and hit that like button. So until next time, I'll see y'all later.